Hey you guys, what's up? I'm super excited about today's video. I'm going to be testing out another new Colourpop collection. Today I'm going to be trying out the new Colourpop Apricot Me Not Collection. I feel like weird saying the collection name because I feel like some people say apricot or apricot. Where I'm from, I feel like people say apricot, but I could be just saying that wrong, but that's how I've always said the word. But yeah, in today's video, I'm going to be trying out this collection. I'll be showing you guys close-ups and swatches of everything. I'll also be creating this eye look for you guys, and I'm going to be doing lip swatches of all of the lip shades. So I hope you guys are all excited about today's video. If you are, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So first things first, let's go ahead and do close-ups and swatches of everything that comes in this collection. So first up, we have the new Apricot Me Not eyeshadow palette. And this says that it has a range of apricot inspired shades from soft white gold to bright corals to deep cinnamon browns. And in this palette, we have mattes and metallics. So first up, we have the shade Jam on It, Sauced, Tarte to Tarte, KOTL, Puree, Twisted, Got It Bad, Apricot or Not, and Bar None. So here are all of the shades in the eyeshadow palette. The swatches don't look like too exciting, but I feel like these shades on the eyes will look really pretty, especially for like the summertime. Next up in this collection, we have the Thanks a Bunch Super Shock Shadow Trio. And here are the three shades in this little trio. First up, we have the shade Hey Lover. Gorgeous. Next is the shade For Me. Also gorgeous, love that one. And lastly is the shade Bestest. So there are all three shades of the Super Shock shadows. Then we have two shades of the Super Shock highlighters. Here's what the packaging looks like. One of these is a soft pink champagne and one is a rose gold. So first up is the shade Addicted to You, and this is the champagne shade, and these are marbled. So that literally felt like a cream when I swatched it. And there's that shade. I'm pretty sure these will be too dark for my skin tone, but it is pretty. Then we have the rose gold, which is called On and On. There is that shade. Honestly, I'm probably not going to be able to use either of these as a highlighter, but the shades are pretty. Then we have 4 shades of the Fresh Kiss lip creams. Here are the 4 shades. These have a soft matte finish. I love this product. They're so good. First up is the shade First Taste. Next is Nice and Slow. Freshest, and lastly we have the shade Apricots and Cream. I'm thinking that this shade will be my favorite because I love shades like that. So here are all 4 shades. I think these are all gorgeous and I know I'm gonna love all of these. And lastly in this collection, we have this 4th Ray Beauty Apricot Overnight Lip Mask. So now that you guys have seen everything up close, let's go ahead and move on to the demo part of this video where I'm going to create this eye look for you guys. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is prime my lids, and I'm using my P. Louise base. I'm just gonna tap a little bit of this all over my lids with my finger. This doesn't have to be like, I don't know, perfect or anything like that. I just like a tacky base. Alright, so going into the eyeshadow palette, I'm going to take the shade right here, and I'm just going to start like stamping this all along the shape of my crease, just because my base is tacky, as I said, so I like to kind of stamp the eyeshadow first, and then once I feel like it's on there good, I will start swirling my brush and blending it outwards. Now I'm going to pick up the shade Got It Bad, and I'm going to take this one on still a fluffy brush, but this one's tapered so that I can go a little bit lower, and I'm just going to blend this one right below the first shade, kind of concentrating this one a little bit more in the crease area, whereas with the first shade I kind of went up higher to be my transition shade. So I'm just going to kind of pat this on the outer corner and then slowly drag this into the crease. Now I'm going to pick up the shade called Bar None, and I'm taking this on a small fluffy brush, and I'm going to just start patting this on the outer corner. I'm kind of doing the same thing, but I want to make sure that I keep this shade the lowest since it is the darkest. So I'm just going to keep most of it on the outer corner area, and I'm not picking up too much on my brush. I'm kind of just dipping in and then like tapping off so that we don't go in too heavy-handed. And then I'm just going to lightly start blending this on my outer corner, and then once most of the color is deposited there, then I will drag my brush throughout my crease. So now I'm just going to apply some concealer all over the lid. This doesn't have to be perfect because we're just doing this basically to create a blank space for the lid shades, for the shimmers I'm going to put down. I'm going to build back up the crease shades, so I'm not too worried about those right now. So I'm just going to quickly put this all over the lids. So first for the lid, I'm going to grab this light gold, and I'm going to place this like right here in the inner corner. I really like this shade, but I feel like it's not as creamy as some of their other like metallic formula shadows. I feel like this one like goes on really well. It's pigmented, but it is a little bit flaky, so it is kind of like going everywhere, which is bothering me a little bit. But it does look nice. Now I'm going to take this middle shade. I think I'm going to apply like the shades from the palette first, and then we can add some Super Shocks on top. So I'm just going to put this one down next, just kind of down the center of the lid, and I'll connect it to that first shade that I put down. Yeah, I think that I might add some Super Shock shadows on top of these just to give them a little something extra. And lastly, I'm going to apply this shade, and this one's going to go down the outer part of my lid. I think that this one's probably my favorite shimmer in the palette. I feel like it looks the most metallic, but I will say these shimmers in this palette have a lot of fallout. So I think I'm going to take some of the Super Shock shadows. I'm not really sure which shade yet. I typically like shy away from Super Shock just because of how the formula is. Like they're just a little bit creamier than a regular shadow, but honestly I might just use all three. So maybe starting with the gold, and then I'm just going to kind of tap a little bit where I put that light gold down, just because these have like some really fun glitter in them, and I'm really hoping these don't transfer up, but you do have to apply these with a finger, which is not my favorite way to apply shadows, but I mean it really does just add a really nice like shine to these. Okay, so that was the gold. Now I'm gonna take this shade, which is For Me. It's kind of similar to the center shade I put down, so I'm just gonna kind of tap a little bit of this on top just so we have more like glitter going on here. Yeah, definitely adds some glitter, which I like. And then I'll take the shade Bestest, which is the darkest one, and I'm just gonna kind of tap this on the outer corner shade. Okay, so now I need to kind of blend my crease shades back on. So starting with the darkest shade on the outer corner, I'll just kind of tap and swirl my brush here just until we have that nicely blended. So then I'll pick up this shade right here on a very tiny blending brush, and I'm just going to kind of drag this all along the edges of the shimmer shades just so we have a more defined crease again, because I feel like I kind of went a little too high with the shimmer shades, but you can always fix that afterwards by applying the mattes back over top. So I'm just gonna blend my brush back and forth. All right, so now that the lids are pretty much done, I do need to do a little bit more blending on this eye, but that's okay. We're gonna go on to the lower lash line. I think I'm gonna grab this shade, which I haven't used yet, but it looked really pretty. It's called Twisted, and this is a really nice like coral with some glitter in it. So I'm just going to kind of blend this right along the lower lash line. So I did kind of just like pack that on. So now I'm going to take a brush with like nothing on it, and I'm just going to kind of diffuse the edges here. And then to deepen it up a little bit, I'm going to take some of the dark brown that I literally got concealer all over. Oops. And I'm going to put this right up against the lash line just to kind of make my lower lash line look a little more defined. All right, so I went ahead and added a little bit of mascara so the eye look is complete. I do like the way that the look turned out. I don't think you guys need this palette. I feel like you could find these shades in a bunch of other palettes if you already have any like kind of warm toned palettes, but I do think it is a pretty palette for the summertime. If you guys don't have any shades like this, I think this is a good like kind of monochromatic palette to have, but I'm pretty sure you guys could probably find these shades in other palettes to create a look that looks just like this. So yeah. So for the highlighters, I think I'm just going to tap a little bit of maybe each of these onto my cheeks. I already know these shades are going to be too dark for me. These are just not going to go with my skin tone because I am like super fair. But maybe, I think I might be able to make the pink one work. I think the rose gold might be too dark. I think I might take some from like a lighter part of the marbled area. These literally feel like a cream. And I'm just gonna kind of tap with my finger. This is the Super Shock formula. So usually this formula is better applied with the finger. Yeah, this is just a little bit too dark for me. I think the shade is pretty, but I don't know if I could make this work unless I was like super self-tanned. But even then with a self-tan, it probably would be a little dark still. So yeah, you probably can't even really see it. It kind of looks like a blush on me almost. I could probably use it as a blush topper. All right, so the last thing we need to try out are the lip creams. This one is called First Time. The Fresh Kiss lip creams literally make your lips look so like soft. I love this formula. So here's the shade First Time. I love it. It's a little bit lighter than something I would normally go for because I don't really like the line that you can kind of see in the lips. It's just a lighter shade than I would typically wear, but I do think it is really pretty and I love the formula of these. They're not long lasting or like transfer proof, but they do look really nice on the lips. Next we have Nice and Slow. So I much prefer this shade over the first one. It is very similar, but it is darker, so I just feel like it looks better. This one is probably gonna be one of my favorites, I think, out of the four. I think it is a really nice shade, and I don't really have that many shades that are like this. I kind of like the orangey tone this one has. This one is called Freshest. So here is this shade. This one's a little bit more kind of like corally, like a light coral, and I think it is really pretty. It kind of gives you like a nice pop of color that's not like too much. And lastly, we have Apricots and Cream. So here is this shade. This one is definitely my favorite. I feel like this one is going to be so flattering on so many different skin tones. And I just personally really like shades like this. So I am really impressed with this shade. This is probably one of my favorite lip cream shades that they've come out with in a while. So yeah, that is everything that comes in the new Colourpop Apricot Me Not collection. I really like the lip cream shades in this collection. These are probably my favorite thing that comes in this collection. Specifically, the shade Apricots and Cream, the one that I'm wearing right now, is my favorite thing, hands down, that comes in this collection. I think the shade is gorgeous. As for the eyeshadow palette, I think it is a really pretty kind of like monochromatic palette, but I don't feel like you guys really need this palette if you already have like warm orangey shades in other palettes. You could definitely recreate this type of look with other palettes. I think it's a pretty palette, but I just personally don't think it's really a necessity. The highlighters in this collection, I can't really say whether or not I like them because they're just too dark for my skin tone, so just keep that in mind. If you are on the fair to light side, these two shades will probably not work for you, just because they are a little bit deeper, which is fine. They are really pretty. I love the marbled look that these have. And then these Super Shock shadows are also gorgeous shades, but once again, you probably already have shades like this in your collection in just like regular eyeshadow palettes, just because they are like golds and kind of like orangey shades. They are very pretty, but I feel like you probably already have similar shades in your collection if you already have some warm toned eyeshadow palettes. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know if you guys plan on picking anything up from this collection. So I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Also, make sure you have your notifications turned on, that way you don't miss out on any of my future videos. All you have to do is click the bell next to the subscribe button, and then you'll receive a notification every time I upload a new video. And I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.